We've never had a pre-show guest.
Contains information about universal
becoming social media account holders.
You're listening to Orlando Unplugged, celebrating life in living color with Dustin and Ashley. Grab a cocktail or a mocktail and let's get unplugged, Orlando.
What's up, Unplugged fam? I'm Dustin.
And I'm Ashley.
Oh, that was so quiet.
I know, it was kind of nice. Listen, it's a chill Sunday. We're having a vibey Sunday. We just came back from eating our body weight in sushi. We did a cute little Aldi's run. Bruce needed cat food.
You just
And now we're
derailed that
vibing.
intro hard.
What did I do? You want to do it again?
What's up, Unplugged fam? I'm Dustin.
And I'm Ashley.
And you're listening to Orlando Unplugged Podcast, episode
21.
21.
21. Hey, you know who's going to be 21 next week?
Who?
Julia.
Oh, yeah.
It's
She got a
Julia's
birthday coming
21st
up.
birthday next week.
That is exciting.
It's on Wednesday. Well, I guess it's this week. It's Wednesday.
I guess we'll have to update everyone on how Julia's drinking around the world goes.
I cannot wait. I've always wanted to see that girl drunk, and I cannot wait to do it.
I think it'll be fun.
I'm so excited.
Well, guys, welcome back to this week's episode. As we told you last week, this week we're going to be diving into a little bit of what it means to unplug the cost of living here in the great Sunshine State, and more specifically, Orlando, Florida.
I promise this will not be a super boring episode filled with a whole bunch of numbers and a whole bunch of things that you really don't care about.
Even
I promise.
though it is full of that, and that's the whole purpose of this episode.
Okay, on my side of things, I promise not to make it a boring episode for you.
You hate me.
Yes, I do. Do you know what today is? Well, I guess yesterday.
What is it?
It's National Ally Awareness Month.
I don't think our listeners are going to agree to that statement.
Listen.
I think more appropriately, it is officially Pride Month.
Yes, it is.
Even though you live in your own little Imogen Heartstopper world,
Yes,
because
I do.
you are an ally.
I am an ally. Did you tell everybody what you got on Pride Month on the very first?
A big long text message from you that I never responded to.
Yes, you did.
Oh yeah, I said Imogen.
Because it's all about me. And do you know, like every single place I've been since the first, I have been to a theme park since the first, and I've seen obviously all of their Pride merch, and everything is all out and about and everything. And I can't tell you how many Snapchats I sent you yesterday.
I would like to remind everyone that during this month,
Yes,
you can give all of your money to these corporations that blindly and fakely say that they support the LGBTQ plus community, or you can donate your money directly to me, a homosexual. And I promise you, I will put that money to far more good use than all these other places, because I will use it to
live.
fix the air conditioner in my car, which is still not fixed,
And the tire.
amongst other things.
Yes, but don't worry, I'll do all the representing for you.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm buying all the things because I've never had an excuse too. So now I have a full excuse.
See, and this is where I feel bad for you, because I'm just not
I don't care.
that.
This month,
like,
you are.
I just
July 1st, you can go back to being your little, I don't want the world to know. That's fine. Like, I will support it either way.
I didn't say I don't want the world to know. I just live my life.
I know.
And do my own thing.
But from June 1 until June 30th, you are going to be the most pride-obsessed person right along with me. And I hope you realize that, because I'm going to rock them. I'm going to wear the ears that Disney World just set out, and the universal is love, or love is universal. Is that what it is? I think is it universal is love, or love is universal?
Love is universal.
I'm going to buy all of the things.
Well, while that is great, and we absolutely love that, we just want to make sure that all of our listeners know that here at Orlando Unplugged, we believe in celebrating love, acceptance, and the beautiful diversity of all humans.
We really do.
So this month, we stand with our members of the LGBTQ plus
Woo!
community honoring the courage and strength it takes to be yourself every single day. And something that we're planning on doing, we're still working on logistics of everything.
Yes.
But as of right now, we do have one special guest speaker that we're hoping to bring to you in the next week or two.
Woo.
Therefore, I don't have an update on exactly what next week's episode is going to be because it's going to depend on schedules. But we do plan to hopefully have at least 1, 2, if not one every week this month, a member from the LGBTQ plus community,
yes,
to discuss topics on how just how that interacts with whatever topic it is that we're talking about.
Yeah, or just about them, about their life. Maybe we'll have a coming out story, or we'll talk about what it's like to live in this world in this day and age, and be a member of that community. So
who knows? You guys might see Gio again.
Oh, everybody loves Gio.
He's the gayest person I know in Orlando. So.
He would very much agree with you, I think, on that statement.
I think so.
I can't wait. I'm so excited and you know what's going to be great is every single time we're going to have one of those, I'm going to rock like my rainbow colors, and I can't wait because I am an ally. This month may be about you.
I'm an ally.
But it's about me because I am an ally.
I'm not homophobic. I'm an ally.
I'm an ally. Listen, I am not. I am very much an ally.
If you guys have not seen Heartstopper, it is on Netflix.
I
you
highly
should totally
recommend.
go watch it. It's very, very good. First season's great. Second season is out now.
Makes me cry.
It's not like dark or vulgar, but it gets a little more real. Ashley's yet to learn. She hasn't seen the whole season yet, so she's going to find out soon.
But she'll get to see my twin,
And
Imogen.
season 3 comes out October 3rd, right before my birthday. So I'm excited for that.
But yeah, I am really excited though, because I do think that when we cover a couple episodes that we are going to have to cover Universal's City Walk's newest. Okay, so I don't want to say newest restaurant because Red Coconut Club has been around for a while, but every season Red Coconut Club.
It's also a bar, not a club.
It's called Red Coconut Club.
It's a bar, not a restaurant. You call it a restaurant.
Oh, I'm sorry. Every season they change their theming to it, and do you know what they have done? I was just there yesterday.
I saw it, but I don't remember what it's called.
Red Coconut Pride.
That's right.
I can't wait. So, and it's got exclusive merch and exclusive cocktails, and it's all decorated and everything. So I will be sure to add all of that to our social media.
A real and slight somber note. I haven't looked into this. I've only seen it as I've scrolled through things, but apparently the FBI and the counterterrorism thing is saying that ISIS is claiming that they plan to do something this June.
What are they going to do? They're going to mess with
stay vigilant out there, friends. Be safe. Be proud. Be who you are. But keep your eyes peeled for that weird person in the corner because people are weird.
I mean, you could just have a weird person in your friend group. I don't know if they're going to be a part of those things, but there could be a weirder person. Keep an eye for the weirder people.
Yeah, the weirders.
The weirders.
Because, Ashley is clearly the weird person in our friend group.
No.
You definitely are.
I'm an ally, not weird. Thank you.
Okay, well, now that we've talked about the gay agenda,
I love the gay agenda.
Let's move on to your absolute favorite topic and show that we have done so far about unplugging our finances, Ashley.
Woo! You ready?
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing and talking a little. Oh, hello.
It's my dryer.
Went off. It was like go. Today we're going to be discussing a little bit about our personal finances and the average cost of living for the state of Florida, and more specifically when we have the information here in the Orlando area.
I think the whole purpose of this episode is to get people that are thinking about moving to this area. Hey, this is your how-to guide of exactly how much you're looking at it being while you live here.
Mm-hmm. And I will say right now, if you're planning on moving to Orlando, Florida by yourself, I hope you make greater than $60,000 a year.
Or you find really good friends very fast.
Yeah. That was,
like you.
To be honest, so I've wanted to live here since 2014.
Yeah.
And I've just not had an opportunity that lined up well. And I had friends that had space, like free space for me to slide in, I finally found that, and that was the only way that I made it down here.
That's crazy.
So technically, the cost of living in Florida is slightly higher than the national average. So according to the World Population Review, Florida ranks as the 22nd highest state when it comes to the cost of living. According to unbiased.com, with a $50,000 yearly income, you can live well in Florida.
That was some air quotes there.
That was, especially in affordable areas like, so I didn't know this prior to today, but apparently Winter Haven, Gainesville, and Jacksonville are the more cheaper places to live. And obviously, as you get closer to the coast, it's going to skyrocket in price.
Oh, absolutely. I also feel like when you get closer to theme park villas,
Theme park bills. So you mean city centers,
like Orlando, like Tampa?
Yeah,
those two places.
Well, those are also more
metro.
They're more metropolitan areas. So there's a lot more going on. Like obviously, the city center in Sanford is not going to be as expensive as the city center in Orlando.
Correct.
And Sanford is what, 10 miles north? Like it's just right down the road.
Something like that. Yeah.
You want to talk about housing costs?
Absolutely. Why not?
Let's do it.
So the average housing cost breaks it down to we broke it down pretty aggressively here. So the average rent is steady from apartment to single family home rentals. A studio 1-bedroom apartment in the city center runs about $1,900 per month for a total of $22,800 a year.
That makes me sick.
That's disgusting is what it is. A studio 1-bedroom apartment outside the city center will run residents about $1,700, totaling $20,400 a year.
Now,
that's even more disgusting to me.
And to put that into perspective, if you make like $18 an hour,
you can't even afford to live outside of
you're
the city.
only making like $30,000 a year. And so that's almost your entire
paycheck.
So the cost of these units, these apartments, are typically so high, you can't afford that on a single person salary.
No.
So if you're moving to Orlando, you either have to have be a dual income household, or you have to have roommates like you and I both have.
Correct. Now, most 3-bedroom apartments in the city center will run about $3,112, totaling about $37,344 a year. Now, the same apartment outside of the city is going to run about $2,600 a month, which is going to average about $31,200. So depending on whether or not you live in the city or outside the city, you're still looking at a ridiculously high amount for a 3-bedroom with some roommates or with a dual income household. Now, our average utilities for these places on average are going to give you about water being about $33, your gas being about $105, electric being about $144, and streaming and internet services being about $76. Now, this does not include phone bills, groceries, if you have pets, any sort of
this is
car
just strictly
insurance.
housing.
This is just strictly living. That's the average that they're giving you if you are typically living in a city center or an outside city adjacent.
Yeah. Now, I don't know anybody that has a $33 water bill, but
Me either. I don't.
$33 water bill anymore.
Have you ever had a $33 water bill?
In like 2011, 2012.
I've never had a $33 water bill.
Yeah, I lived when I lived in my trailer, my childhood home. It was for a while it was just me, and then I had a couple of different roommates over times. But back then, if the water bill was $40 or higher, it was considered high. Now that being said, I lived in a rural community in East Tennessee, which is very different from living in a city where you also have sewer and all of those things. Like I lived on septic back then, so we didn't pay sewer bills and all these things.
I say like I really have an idea of what that means, but I'm just gonna go with that's so cool. So what does it look like for you right now?
So for me, I made a deal with some friends. I have friends that have a 4-bedroom home.
Hi, friends.
It's a rental. They don't own it. But it's
a house.
Yeah, it is a house. It is a standalone single family home on the outskirts of Orlando. So it is what I would call a lower class community. We have great neighbors and everything. Like no one in our directly adjacent to us. Like there's no trashy houses. We're like within the next few houses. But the neighborhood that we do live in is a little on the trashier side. But that's fine because I grew up as white trash, so that's okay. I'm kidding. Kind of. I always joke. One side of my family was upper middle class. The other half of my family lived in poverty.
That's a big mood.
And it really was. Well, to be honest, in my opinion, it made me understand money more, and it made me really appreciate what I had because I got to see both sides of the spectrum. And a lot of my friends lived in bad poverty in my hometown. So I've seen both sides of that world. And for a brief period, I was considered upper middle class last year when I had a really nice job. But yeah, so I pay the agreement that I made with them. I had to move down here. No job lined up. Was $633 for my rent and then utilities on top of that. So right now I'm paying anywhere from $750 to $800 a month in total for everything. But I don't know what the full rent is for the home, and I don't know what my other two roommates pay. I have no clue. I just know the agreement that I made with them.
I love that for you.
Yeah. And I have two rooms. I have my room, and then I have one of the empty rooms that I have set up an office in. But yeah. So for you, you're on the opposite end of the spectrum from me. So what is it like where you live?
I've always been on the opposite end of the spectrum, though, from a lot of people. So.
I'm going to not say the joke about the spectrum you're on, but continue.
You're an ass. I kind of want to start, though, a little to kind of combat what you were saying, though. You grew up seeing both sides of everything, right? Mm-hmm. I grew up my parents had, I don't want to say like we were well off, but we were okay. And then when I was a freshman in high school, we were really okay. Mm-hmm. Like we would take multiple vacations. We would do multiple things. My parents there was 3 vehicles in our driveway at all times. Like my dad had a sports car. Like my parents were very well off. Both my parents worked by the time I was a freshman. And my dad made bank. So I went from like watching my mom in elementary school and middle school clip coupons to like, hey, we can shop at the bougie grocery store. Okay.
We going to the Walmart today. We ain't going to no.
No. Like it was like we were in
grocery
from
store
like
outlet, United Grocery Outlet.
Going to like the commissary on base to being like, we can shop at Kroger. We can shop at like Whole Foods. Okay.
So now tell me about your house.
So I live in a 3-bedroom house. I have
apartment, not house.
I live in I'm sorry, I got in a text message from the little brother. I apologize. I live in a 3-bedroom apartment. I have technically on our lease, it is just myself and one other person. So we split our costs technically 3 ways because there's 3 of us that live here. Mm-hmm. So for my cost alone, just for me, I look at between about $900 to $1,000, and that includes my rent. That includes my water bill. Mm-hmm. Our utilities is the same way, and then our Wi-Fi is included in that between $900 and $1,000. That's typically what each of us pay for. However, my situation is a little different because I live with my little brother lives with me, mm-hmm. so I cover. Most of the time I cover a good chunk of his costs. Mm-hmm. And if I don't, then the iconic Shan helps out in that situation a little bit.
Shout out to Shan.
Love her.
And where is your apartments located?
I'm what is called the city, what is it? City adjacent? Is that what
City
they're called?
Center adjacent.
City Center adjacent. We literally live, I have no issue with this. I like where I live, and most people know where I live anyway, so I don't care if the world knows. I live literally right behind Universal. Mm-hmm. Like I could walk. I do. Yeah. All of my roommates walk to work, and I run through Universal because I run every day. But like no, there's complete access from my house to the theme park.
Yeah. So you technically live in the middle of the tourist destination.
I literally
of Orlando.
do. Like there is tourists everywhere.
We
So
could, if we wanted to, we could walk to the grocery store, walk to all these
I
places.
very much could. Yeah.
We don't.
Oh
Because
God, no. I mean, I walk to the theme park. Don't get me wrong, but that's probably about as far as I walk.
we walk. If we ever stay at Universal Resorts, we walk, so we don't have to pay to park our cars there.
Yes, I do that.
Fun fact.
There's also times where like if I'm meeting friends at City Walk for like a drink or something, I'll walk to the park.
Mhm.
I mean, yes, it's only like a $7 Uber, but I'm like, $7 Uber or $17 cocktail.
Yeah. Now
I'd rather do that.
I will say this, without either of us going into details on our personal incomes, you make more than I do.
I do.
We do know that. So I technically fall into this next little portion, which is something I find interesting. So the median income for Orlando residents is about $35,000, which is just $2,916 a month, which when compared to the $22,800 a year in rent for a studio apartment, that only leaves about $12,200 remaining for all cost, utilities, transportation, groceries, entertainment, healthcare, anything else that you do,
crazy.
buying clothes. And that's why, like, this next portion, you'll understand. So if I'm paying, about that much, which I'm not, I'm paying a little bit less than that. Well, I'm paying
But
less
I think
than
that's.
that.
Wait. Before we get into this portion, can we pause for just a second here?
Yeah, what's up?
That's crazy to me. Like I'm looking at that cost. Like I mean, my brother falls into that category there, and I'm just like, how are kids nowadays after they graduate high school, and if most of the kids that live and that work for theme parks, they don't go to college right away. They'll take a year off, like my brother did, and he works for a theme park. How are they supposed to afford to do this?
Well,
Like
this is
not
why
all of them have big sisters who make a
this is
decent amount of
why
money.
we are seeing historical numbers of adults that are still living with their parents.
Oh yeah.
Because here's the thing, and I'll say this, I'll preface. Have I ever paid my rent?
Your
late?
Lent?
My Lent. Have I ever paid my rent late?
No.
Within 30 days, yes. There have been times.
Oh, I said no. I thought you wanted me to answer for you.
I'm 30 years old. You guys
I've paid
have
my
been,
rent
yeah.
late.
We everybody has. You either forget to pay it or you just don't get paid until the following
Correct.
Friday, and you're 5 days late.
We've
It is what
also
it is.
had a situation where like my credit card information got stolen,
Yeah,
so we couldn't pay our rent because
but
we were waiting for my new card.
every time that has ever happened to me, I've always spoken with my landlord and my leasing office, and it's usually paid within 5 to 10 days of it being
Yeah.
considered overdue.
Correct.
Therefore, not once in my entire life has it been reported on my credit score
No.
that I have missed a payment for rent, that I have been evicted from a home, because I never have
Correct.
been. But tell me how $22,800 a year is what I would have to pay for rent.
That's crazy.
But a bank will look at me dead in the face and say, you don't make enough money for a $800 a month mortgage, even though you've been paying more than double in rent.
Yeah. And in most places, I know when Zach and I applied for our apartment complex, we had to make, I think it was like 3.5 times the our
And what is
oh my
if
God,
you,
what is it called? Our rent?
And if you don't mind me asking, what was when it was advertised before they tacked on all the extra crap?
Yeah.
Do you remember what they said the rent was for this 3-bedroom
I want to
unit?
say it was $3,700. I think.
So $3,700 for 3 bedrooms that are
Yeah.
about 12 feet
And we
by
didn't know
12 feet.
correct. We didn't know that it was included like all the rest of the things. Like that wasn't like we weren't aware that Trash Valley wasn't part of that. We weren't aware that like our parking was included in that, or that like our water was attached to that, like or that all the amenities and
Because see, most places
any of that stuff. This was what it was.
It would be $3,000 plus $8 for trash, plus $3 a month for pest control, plus $50 a month for pool and gym access, plus this, and usually that's all tacked on after the fact.
Correct. But 3.5 times $3,700. Do you know what that is?
How much?
That's almost $13,000. Between Zach and I, we had to make $13,000 a month in order to qualify. Because it's 3.5 times. So this place was listed at $3,700.
That's not that.
And you multiply that by 3.5, right?
That Yeah, but that math's not mathin' because
That's
you
mathin'.
guys don't make that much money a month. That's a lot of fucking money. Excuse my language, but that seem, I don't know. But yeah, I do
It's
see.
ridiculous.
I do
though.
see what
I'm
you're
just
saying.
going.
Where they
My thing is like the
no,
average
that's
theme park.
3,000 plus
Is that 6?
3,000 times 3
Or is
is
it 9?
Yeah, but even still,
But I'm going. The average theme park employee makes $18 an hour.
Yeah, I think Universal and Disney start around $18 an hour.
What about these kids at like Fun Spot or SeaWorld? I know SeaWorld only pays them, I think it's 16. How are these
well,
16?
first off, no one's moving to Orlando, Florida to work at SeaWorld.
I mean, there are people though that do. They want
But
to
I
work in their
guarantee you
aquarium.
they're not going to be frontline positions. Those are going to be higher positions.
Sad though.
Yeah, but unfortunately that's
It's awful.
So yeah, but let's talk about transportation costs.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, I did not think to look at what public transportation in Orlando is. I didn't think about that until literally this exact moment. I will tell you that you can ride the iDrive trolley for $6 a day.
I know you can ride the bus for $1.25 away
Per ride.
per
So
ride.
$1 or
No, like
$1.25.
per stop.
What do they do? Make you get off and get back on and put your money back in?
No, you swipe your card and you tell them where you're going, and they charge you for that.
I don't think that's how that works. It's usually you just board and pay, and then
Yeah, and then that's how long you pay for how long you're on until you get off.
I have never heard of a city doing that before. You pay to get on the bus, and then you get off the bus at your destination.
Yeah,
But I've never heard of per stop.
No, like if you get off and you get back on.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like if you stop at like 12 different stops, you're paying for 12 different stops.
So here in Orlando, the average gas prices tend to hover about $3.50, but obviously they do fluctuate around world events, the pandemic, hurricane season, which we are officially in. There's no hurricanes going on right now, so gas prices aren't inflated.
Not yet.
However, just as any part of the country does, you can see spikes in prices for any given time, any given reason. But for the most part, regular unleaded gas runs about $3.50. Now, I have to put the top level. I always have to put premium. My car is a European car. And when I bought the car, they were very clear. They were like, premium only. Do not put regular gas in this car. So I never have, and I probably never will. But that means I'm paying usually $4.43 a gallon for my gas, but I'm only spending an average about $30 per week because I only have to fill up my car once. Did you have a thought?
No.
Oh, okay.
You're good. Keep going.
Now, here's where it gets more fun. So keep in mind, I have already paid my rent of about $633 to $800.
Huh?
And on top of that, I purchased a vehicle at the end of the pandemic when interest rates were ridiculously high. I didn't have the best credit in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So my monthly car payment is about $415 a month. And here's the kicker. This is what really bothers me, is my car has depreciated in value. I bought it in 2022. It's now 2024. And my car has depreciated in value by 76%.
So it went down? Is that what depreciate means?
Yes. Which, I mean that is standard in vehicles, but...
Don't they say that your car automatically depreciates? Like, if you buy a new car, it automatically depreciates the minute you take it off the lot?
Oh, yeah. The second you leave the lot, it depreciates in value by, like, thousands of dollars.
That's so weird to me. It's so weird to me that, like, you can buy a house, put work in it, and your house value will go up. But, like, you drive a vehicle, you buy a vehicle...
That's because the longer you have a car, the more wear, and houses and cars are very, very different.
I know. Well, duh. One moves and one stays sedentary.
Yeah. But here's the thing that is upsetting is it's decreased in value to pretty much next to nothing. Like if I wanted to trade this car in, I would be so upside down on my loan because it has depreciated in value so much.
That's sad.
Very, very sad.
Especially because cars are so expensive to buy.
Yeah. And I paid more than what it's worth, and I'm still paying a lot more than what it's worth.
I love that for you.
So I think the thing that bothers me the most about how much is depreciated in value is car insurance.
Yep.
So because I have a lien on my car and I'm paying it off, I have to have full coverage insurance. And the state of Florida requires your insurance to have a minimum of $10,000 of personal injury protections and $10,000 in property damage liability. So in order to get that and to get uninsured motorists, which is very much needed in the state of Florida.
Yes, it is.
And loan lease payoff, which is something else that I have. I'm paying about $159.62 per month, so a total of $792.57 every 6 months for my terms. And that is through Progressive, which I've been able to... I had it when I moved to Florida. I left Progressive for a little while. I had some issues with the current insurance company that I had, so I jumped back over to Progressive recently. And I like Progressive. I think they're great.
Isn't that Flo?
Yes.
Love Flo.
Yes. She's the reason I got Progressive in the first place.
She's so cute.
That name your own price tool, which doesn't really work because you don't get to name your own price. You get to tell it what you want, and then it gives you a very exuberant price. But anywho, so that's about what it runs for me to run my car. So we're talking a little over $500 a month. So guess what? I've paid $600 for my rent, $600 to $700 to $800. Now another $500 for my car. We're well over $1,000 right there. And that's more than I make in a single paycheck in 2 weeks. So my rent is on one paycheck, my car is on the other, and it doesn't leave a whole lot of money for things in between. But we'll talk about that. What is your transportation like, actually? Because your transportation is much, much different than mine.
It's very different because I hate talking about this topic so much because I get so much backlash for it. Like. I
don't think you should get any backlash for it if
lot.
it's what you want to do.
I get a lot of it, though, to be honest with you, because
You're living in a New York state of mind.
I am almost 28 years old, and I don't talk about this. I don't tell people this, but I've decided this is the year that I'm going to be open and honest about things.
Girl, there's nothing shameful about it. Just tell the people how you get around.
I don't drive. I don't drive.
You used to drive. You have driven. It's not like you can't drive. You just choose not to.
Kind of. That story is kind of true.
Okay. Well, anywho, let's talk about what you do.
I Lyft and Uber everywhere I go. So, but I don't Uber. I don't like Ubers. I feel, and Uber knows this, and I have absolutely no problem talking about this. I feel incredibly unsafe in an Uber than I do in a Lyft. I've had more issues in Ubers with creepy drivers, people dropping you off at the wrong spot, not knowing where they're going, more than I have ever had driving in a Lyft. And I have been lifting it on and off for about 5 years now.
Whenever I would come down here on my vacations, before I moved, Lyft always. Yeah. And when guests come up to me where I work and ask me how to get to the airport, I always say you can Uber or Lyft. My personal recommendation is Lyft.
Correct.
It's what I do. It's what I love. Lyft, if you're listening, if you want to sponsor someone,
Ashley,
you can totally sponsor Orlando Unplugged podcast.
Sponsor Ashley, because I literally give you all my money. No, I Lyft everywhere. I Lyft from my house to work, from work back home. I also Lyft if I have to go to the grocery store, if I'm going to meet friends at a theme park. And obviously, like, I live with people who drive.
You also have your private chauffeur.
I do.
Who's your private chauffeur?
You. But I also fill your gas tank for private chauffeuring me.
You do.
And if it's not you, then I have other people that pick me up from places all the time. So no, it's fine. To be honest with you, I prefer it, honestly. Like, I have seen way too many people get into car accidents. I mean, my best friend got into one 2 years ago. I have seen you've gotten into accidents before. Girl, we got an accident and we weren't even in the car. Correct. Like,
we got a hit and run.
Yeah, we did. I don't feel, listen to the Universal Staycation episode to hear all about those details.
Yeah.
I've never been comfortable driving a vehicle. It freaks me out. I get really, really, really nasty panic attacks when I get behind a vehicle. So I'm perfectly fine not driving a vehicle.
What would you say, like, just ballpark? What do you think you spend a month on Ubering?
So if I specifically, there's been times where I won't go, like I'll pick a month and I won't go anywhere other than just to work, just to kind of save some extra costs. So if I'm going specifically just from my house to the office, I run anywhere between about $15 to $20 per ride. Now that's from my house to the office is an average of 15 to 20. And then from my office to my house, another 15 to 20. So I rack on, if we're going about $40 a day, I roughly work anywhere between, I don't know, 5 to 6 days. So let's go 5 just to be on the safe side. I'm looking at a week of about $200 a week I spend in Uber costs just to go from my house to the office.
So you're spending about $800. So
About $800.
in all reality here,
I'm cheaper than you are. Actually,
no.
I'm the same cost.
No, in all reality, we're about the same
Yeah.
cost because I've got $415 plus
Yeah.
$159 plus $30 a week.
And that's only if I'm going to and from my office. Like if I have to run to Target, or if I have to run to the grocery store, or I mean if I have to get cat food, or if I'm going to Disney World. I mean, a trip from my house to Disney World is roughly
40?
I'm so sorry. Anywhere between $25 to $40. It just depends on like the time of day, the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm also, though I do have to preference this though, because I am a Lyft member. So I pay $10 a month and I get discounts off of my rides. So I get, especially like if I take, I think it's like 3 rides a day, they tack on like 15% off.
Gotcha.
So, but I
And-
have to hit those 3 rides in order to do that. And I don't average a 3 rides, so I don't always get that discount.
And to be honest, since I've moved down here in November, like I don't see you Ubering unless it's to and from work. Because
Yeah.
a lot of times
I'm
when
going
you
with
do the
people that
grocery
drive.
shopping, you're going with your roommates.
Correct. Or I get my stuff delivered.
or your stuff's delivered. Or,
Yep.
I mean, you and I are fairly inseparable at this point.
Yeah, we go a lot of places together.
So we're usually... It's mostly just for work for you.
Yeah.
I know there was a case the other day, like you started out your day in an Uber, but then you ended your day by me picking you up at the store,
Yeah.
and then we went places together. And we
Yeah,
went and
I
grabbed
think
lunch.
the most I've ever Ubered, or I'm sorry, ever lifted. I don't know why I say. Even when I lift, I say Uber. The most I've ever lifted was when we first moved down, and I was going through like interviews like crazy. So I was literally Ubering or lifting from one job interview to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and I think I did like 6 rides in a day.
Now let me ask you this, because I know a couple of weeks ago you had said
Yeah.
you were debating getting a vehicle in
I
the
am.
next year. Are
I
you
am.
still debating that, or do you think you're going to stick with what you have?
I think I go through phases, where I'm just like, hey, I think this is what I want to do. I think the ultimate goal is to obviously go back to driving a vehicle. At this point, I have to retake all of those certifications because I haven't driven a vehicle in that long. So I have to redo all of that stuff. So that to me is what's kind of stopping me from doing that, because that is giving me the most anxiety ever.
Yeah. Now I will say, in Orlando, we do have multiple means of transportation.
Oh, 110%.
Public transportation. My favorite that we've not participated in yet, because we just don't in the area that we are the bike share and scooter share programs where
Yeah,
you can
it's
rent the bikes and scooters.
Yeah, I think if there's ever a moment that like we move out of our apartment complex and we move to somewhere that's like, I don't want to say more city adjacent, but like more in that city area where that's more of a thing. I mean, I've had friends of mine that have lived in like downtown Orlando, and that's how they get to and from work and from their house is they rent a scooter right outside their neighborhood.
I know I've toyed with the idea of getting an electric bike, but I just don't live close enough currently. I mean, I only live 12 miles, but it's 12 miles from a shady part of town.
Correct.
And it's like, I don't want to be on a bike at 1 o'clock in the morning driving through that area.
Yeah.
Now, I know like some of the places that you guys have looked at recently, I've been like, hey, that would be like a nice biking place. Like it's super easy. It's down really nice roads, bike lanes, sidewalks, all the 9 yards. So I hope that at some point I'm in a place in Orlando that I can bike around, because I'd love to save on gas.
Yeah, I think there's an idea that could be the thing. And I also am a firm believer. I mean, you and I have had this conversation before, that I don't feel like you need to live here. Oh, excuse me, the coffee's coming for me. I don't feel like you need to live here and have to have a vehicle. Like we've had this argument a couple of times. I have done this for so long now that this has become part of my custom. And this was before, obviously, we have tiptoed around the fact that I do make money. So when it comes to
money, I
before-
also make money.
before the money was being made.
Wait, do you make money in your room?
I do.
You just print it all out yourself?
Yep.
Why are you not sharing?
Because listen, Bruce gets all my money. She's the ringleader.
What is this? The Aristocats?
You
Leaving
gotta-
it to your animal?
You got to talk
and
to
you
her.
going to make me the butler?
You're the chauffeur. Listen,
All right,
when
Bruce,
I
let's
die,
go for
that's
a
who's
ride
going
to
to
the
get
French
it.
countryside.
That's who's going to get it. No, I've been doing this for so long that it's part of like, I think that there's a comfortability level there that like I don't have to rely on, like if that's to me more of it, because with you, if your car breaks down, what are you going to do? Okay, yeah, now you're going to start lifting and Ubering everywhere, right? Cool. That's not a budget that you are comfortable with. Like that's not something you've already budgeted for.
That's
For
why you got to be
me-
like Dave Ramsey and have that emergency fund prepared that I do not have.
See, for me, that's already in my budget. Like, I allocate already an amount of money that I know is going to automatically go to my transportation. So, like, and if it's something that, like, hey, all of our friends are meeting at Universal or all of our friends are meeting at Disney World, I'm like, hey,
Who's giving me a ride?
or hey, I will fill up your gas tank. I will throw $10 to your gas tank. And be like,
Which you do a lot because you're like, I want to go here. And I go, I don't have money for gas. And you go, I'll fill up your gas tank.
and I do. And then we go there and then you can't say anything because
It's true.
your gas tank is brought to you in part by
Now,
money being printed by Bruce. You're welcome.
from transportation, let's move on to everyone's absolute favorite groceries.
This is even worse for you and I.
Yeah, this is not a fun one. So,
No. This
according,
is also another one of those situations that like we are going to defer here big time too.
Yeah. So according to unbiased.com, Florida is the 5th highest spending on groceries per week,
That's crazy.
with a household spending an average of $287, which I know that is not
There's
right.
no
There's
way.
no way in the world families of 4, mom, dad, mom, and 2 kids are spending $287 for
There's
3
no
meals
way.
a day plus snacks. That would be a total of $1,148 a month on
I'm
groceries.
going to talk about my family here for a second. So I grew up in a 5-person household. It was me, my mom and dad, and my brother and sister. And my mom would go grocery shopping twice a month, on the 1st and the 15th, because that's when my dad would get paid. On the very first of the month to the 15th, that's a 2-week span, my parents would drop down $600 in groceries for 5 people.
Yeah, so
There's
no
no
way.
way that's
and
possible.
that was the early to mid 2000s.
Correct.
We're living in the world of inflation,
And that
now.
was with my mommy and daddy making some bank.
So, yeah.
And we were
So-
still buying like Meyer brand potato chips, kids.
So for me, it's a little different. Groceries for me over the years have been slightly complicated because I am one person.
Correct.
And shopping for one person is hard because you buy a pound of ground meat, I make a pot of spaghetti, it goes bad before I can eat it all.
Correct.
But at the same time, as everyone knows, I have had issues with my diet and health issues that have made it hard for me at times to try to figure out, because I cannot eat the diet your brother eats. I cannot eat frozen Tostino's pizzas and corn dogs and hot dogs and frozen waffles every day. It literally kills me. But at the same time, if I'm going out and I'm buying all these fresh ingredients, they're going bad before I can use them in a one household. And several times I've looked at my roommates and been like, hey, I'm going to make this. Do you want some? Tristan occasionally will eat what I cook because he will. Krista, however, is either vegan or vegetarian. I think she's vegetarian. Pretty sure it's vegetarian, not vegan. So she won't even eat chicken. Like,
Lovely.
nada. So again, I am pretty tight on what it is that I want to cook and what it is I want to make. So for me, just by myself, and I usually buy my staples, for the most part, I get the same stuff from week to week, and I just eat the same meals. I spend usually $100 or less for 1 to 2 weeks of food. Now, if I make it to 1 week and I'm out of something, I will occasionally go like just to Trader Joe's and grab a few things, or I go to Aldi's and grab a few things. I stay away from Publix and Walmart's because they are so expensive, and I can go to Aldi's and spend $100 and that'll easily equate to $200 at Walmart. What about you? And I want to hear just you, not your household, because I know you guys do a lot of your shopping together.
Yeah. So I will preference I'll give you both. How about that? So when it comes to our situation here, I've said it once and I probably will say it for the rest of my life. I got very lucky with my roommates. Like my one roommate is my younger brother and my other roommate is my best friend. So
and then your other, we'll call them honorary roommate,
is my best friend's girlfriend. So love her. What a girl's girl. But like the four of us tend to split our grocery bills all the time. So when we go grocery shopping together and everybody kind of goes, okay, who's dropping in their card in? All right, cool. Everybody Venmo this person.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody Cash App this person or whatever.
Except for you don't use Venmo because your account got hacked and you never fixed it. So
Correct.
you do Apple Pay.
Or I Cash App. I'm a big fan of both. So when it comes to that, we do kind of split our costs there.
Mm-hmm.
However, when it comes to, there's times though, I have this horrible personality trait for myself where I will see something and be like, oh my God, this is my new obsession.
Girl math.
It is. Where like when you decided that you wanted to gluten-free it for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
I am very much diagnosed with celiac disease. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll do this with you. And then I started eating gluten-free. And then I was like, when I got sick with my kidney, I decided to cut out all red meat. So, I mean, I haven't had red meat since December, so thank you very much. But like, then I'm dabbling around going full vegan. And then I went like alcohol free. I wasn't drinking for like some odd times. So my grocery bill jumps up and down because I go through phases where I want to try new things and do new things. So I also am one of those people that when it comes to, I absolutely refuse to starve. Like I will not pay my rent in order to eat food. So I will, that sounds really bad. I pay my bills, guys. I swear to God. But like, there's always food in my house.
Yeah.
Like, and if there's not food in my house, then I am going to the grocery store, putting myself in a negative or pulling from my savings to put groceries in my house. So on average, we're looking at anywhere between $300 a week or a $300, it's just about every 2 weeks that we throw to the grocery store.
It's about $600 a month.
Correct.
Which is
ridiculous.
Still less than what
the average person does.
What they're saying is the average. Now, that being said, both of our households, we are not households that make a full breakfast, make a full lunch, make a full dinner.
No, I also
we are on our owns for breakfast.
Correct.
We are mostly on our owns for lunches, unless like we're doing a podcast meeting or everyone's off and we're together.
I'm also one of those people though that lives off of a cup of coffee, and I could have like maybe one meal and a couple snacks a day, and I'd be perfectly content.
Did you know I've read that humans were designed to be grazers?
Yeah.
So we're supposed to graze. So like
Correct.
In the mornings for me, I'm usually a cup of coffee, which I make at home. Because screw paying for Starbucks in this world. And then I will occasionally, some mornings I wake up and I feel hungry, and most mornings I wake up and the thought of food makes me want to punch someone first thing in the morning. So I'll do like maybe a bagel or scrambled eggs, or I just do something, a little light. But then I'm usually starving by lunchtime, and it never fails that if I'm at work, like my lunch is not until like 3 in the afternoon or later. So I'll grab like a Rice Krispie treat or something extra. I usually spend at work anywhere from $3 to $10 a day because I don't take food with me, because I work at 2 different locations. I cannot have food at either of them. I don't have a desk like you. I don't have an office. So I don't have like a snack drawer. The ability to have a snack at my desk if I want, I have to be out of my work area. Yeah. So it's just easy for me to grab a drink or a Rice Krispie treat from the concession stand that we have in our area and just grab it. And that's usually, $1 to $3. Yeah. So I'll do that occasionally for snacks and stuff too, but I don't even consider that when I go through my monthly budget, because it's just like less than $10 a month.
See, for me, I'm always one of those people that like, if breakfast, like if you stay that night at the house and you make breakfast, cool, I'll take it with me and bring it to the office. But like other than that, at my office, there's a Starbucks at my office, so I will, and this is gonna sound, I don't know if this is gonna sound bad, but like, as the boss of the restaurants that are there, I don't have to pay for those things. So
it's a perk of the job.
It is. It's a very big perk. So like I can have 1,200 cups of coffee a day if I wanted to, and I wouldn't have to pay the Starbucks ridiculous cost that we pay. However, with that being said, that is not something I do every day. So like, yes, I have a cup of coffee every single day, but I don't have a Starbucks Frappuccino, I will have our drip coffee.
Mocha chocolate.
Yeah, no, I'm not having those. I have a drip coffee with oat milk.
One thing I did forget to say, out of the 2 jobs that I have, one job you can buy a lunch or a meal that's going to be anywhere from $5 to $8. But my other job, they feed all the employees, because at this company, they've stated that they did a whole thing when I first started, but they were like, it's scientifically proven that you work better on a full stomach.
Correct.
So here at this company, we choose to feed you guys and give you a full meal while you're on the clock to ensure that you can provide the best customer service that anybody is going to get in Orlando, because we don't want you to have to worry about getting through an 8-hour or longer work shift while you're hungry.
Once upon a time I worked for a company that had that kind of similar concept. They would let their employees eat the food. But you know why they let the employees eat the food? To prevent theft. Listen, you're not going to sneak a piece of chicken in the freezer because I just gave you chicken with your whole people.
Yeah.
But I also, it was fun because we would do a lot of family dinners like that. But
when I worked at Starbucks, we were allowed to have unlimited beverages. If you work at a corporate Starbucks, not a franchise, you could have unlimited beverages during your work shift as long as you marked it out.
Love it.
The pandemic hit, and then they started to say you can have 1 free drink and 1 free meal every single day, whether you worked or not, if you were a Starbucks employee, because they realized a lot of Starbucks employees would only eat when they were at work in bigger cities. After the pandemic was over, Starbucks said, you know what, you guys have enjoyed this so much. For every work shift that you work at a corporate Starbucks now, you get 1 free beverage and 1 free food item. And it can be a breakfast sandwich, a lunch sandwich. It can be a protein pack that they have in the fridges.
Love it.
1 free meal a day. So shout out to Starbucks there. Thank you.
Okay, where was I? Okay, so I do a cup of coffee in the morning at the office, and then I will do like a meal. It's either if I do a meal, it's potentially comes from one of the restaurants, or it's coming from I'll have something delivered. So I'll get or a lot of the times, we go out of office to get lunch. So, but I have a very good relationship with my boss, and the two of us will go and get lunch outside of the office, and that's covered by the company we work for. So, but that's not an everyday thing. But it's kind of one of those situations where it just kind of depends on the day. But then I will come home and make something light before I go to bed. But that also just kind of depends on the day. But there's days that when I'm off, I will maybe have a meal a day and call it good.
Yeah, I feel the same. Do you want to talk about entertainment?
I would love to talk about entertainment.
Do you want to do it?
Oh yeah.
Do you want to do you want to talk
you want
about
me to start
the Florida average?
You want me to start it?
Yeah,
I will happily do that.
I'll wait for you to pull up your notes.
They're up. My face just didn't adjust because I've got headphones on. It was you're not you. So the average, according to safeboundmoving.com, the average monthly cost for entertainment in Florida is $161.17. This includes the cost of going to the movies, dining out, and other leisurely activities. That's
Think about this is for one individual.
I know,
person,
and I'm thinking of this though, and I'm just that's not. I mean, it's probably close, but I don't think it's fully accurate, because in order to do, I know as somebody who had at one point I had all 3 major theme parks annual passes. I had Disney, Universal, and SeaWorld. Disney averaged between $50 to $60. Universal was between $50 to $60, and SeaWorld I think was between $20 and $30.
Yeah.
So it's close.
We have to consider that is the 161 is for the state of Florida, not necessarily Orlando in general. So I think that we fall here in Orlando in a special little district because you can work for the parks and get into one for free. And then I know if you work for Universal Studios,
you get into SeaWorld for
free. You
get
into Universal for free, but you also get into SeaWorld and Busch Gardens in Tampa for free.
Correct. And it's the same way if you work for SeaWorld. If you work for SeaWorld, you could get into Universal for free. But you do not get benefits, so that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
You work for those.
So, so for us, both of us, for just us in general, we pay about $52 a month individually for our theme park passes.
Correct.
Which is nice.
You and I defer, though, because we defer here just a tad bit.
You mean differ?
Yeah, defer.
Differ? Doesn't defer and differ mean 2 different things?
I don't know.
Yeah, defer is to well, I guess not. Anywho, continue.
We are different here with this because I have an annual pass to Universal that you have to pay up front. So my family, my dad was military, so I cover. I
The Military Freedom Pass.
I have the thank you, and it is $200. It covers the whole year. No, nothing crazy, but you have to pay that right away. So it's not a payment process. So that's a cost that I don't have to cover monthly, but it's a cost if I want that I have to cover January 1. So, and that's nice $200. Where
And then for Disney, you have you and Rob.
Correct.
You pay for both of the passes
I
because
do.
that's a gift that you give to your brother for his birthday.
I did.
So do you both have the Pirate Pass?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. So with Disney, there's a 4-scale system. You've got the Pixie Pass, the Pirate Pass, the something, and the Incredipass.
I think it's the Sorcerer's Pass.
So yeah. So, and it depends, like you get your benefits level, your blackout dates. We started to get the Pixie Pass, but that had the most blackout dates, and
Correct.
you cannot go on weekends at all.
Correct.
So we decided to get the Pirate Pass. It has the least amount of blackout dates that we
But
would
it's still the
to go
blackout
with.
dates that for the jobs that we work, we weren't going to those places anyways
Yeah,
because
it's
we're
like,
at the office.
It's like between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we're pretty
Correct.
much blacked out.
Yep.
Which
is fine because we're living at an office that doesn't allow us to have the time off for that anyways.
The 2 days before and 2 days after 4th of July, we're blacked out. We're blacked out 2 weeks in the middle of summer, and I'm like, I don't want to go to the theme park during
which
these
is
times,
fine.
so it's fine.
But I also kind of like the fact that we can go on Saturdays and Sundays too, because a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, it's gonna be so busy on Saturdays." I'm like, "But we don't go until 6 o'clock anyways."
Sundays are kind of our day, but so I pay about $52 a month for my pass, and here's my thing. I want to preface this. I say later here in this podcast that I do live paycheck to paycheck. I do. Did I need a Disney pass? No, I
Yes.
did not. Well, no. Depends on who you ask. I did not. However, and you know this from me
I do.
because you constantly ask me to go out with you guys to go places and do things, and I always say no. I prefer to just go home after work and hang out by myself and do my own thing. But I wanted more than anything moving to Orlando, being able to go to Universal and Disney and all of these places. It's what I wanted to do. I go to Disney, and unless there's something special like the Tomorrowland backpack or what was the other thing I bought?
You can't say the cup. I bought that for you.
No, it was something. It was something else in the past. But there are things that I'll specifically save up to buy, like the Tomorrowland backpack. When I go to Disney, we're usually buying one bottle of Coke, maybe a popcorn,
Or
maybe a Mickey shaped ice cream. We don't always
we
eat
can't
at the
say
park.
we, honey.
Well, yeah, you.
Say you. Talk about you.
We don't always go and eat and buy beverages.
No.
Now, occasionally we do, like you and I. We have once a month that we go out and we go
Yes.
to a different resort and we go to the bar. We have a drink, maybe an appetizer.
No, we go to one resort because we like their cocktails and
we go to the Grand Flow and we go what's
the Enchanted Rose.
We go to the Enchanted Rose and we have a drink and we gossip and we catch up. But we do that once a month. Now, that
and we
being
eat
said,
truffle fries. And I love it.
wanted to spend $52 a month for this pass because it is my decompression space.
Correct.
It's where I go for my entertainment. I don't go to the movie theaters. I don't go to bars all the time. I know we talk about STP, but when I go to STP, I spend less than $20. This is my place. I can go here and I can have all the fun I want at 4 different theme parks. I can ride roller coasters. I can watch shows. I can interact with characters. All of this, and it doesn't cost me anything extra than my monthly payment.
Correct.
So that is totally fine by me. Outside of that, I have streaming services because I spend all of my time at home. I have Netflix. I have HBO Max. And then during Black Friday, I got the Hulu and Disney bundle for less than $7. So I spend in total about $30 a month for streaming, and I spend usually around $60 or less, maybe $100 depending on the month, or if we have friends in from out of town and we go somewhere special. So I spend about $142 there, and that doesn't include my phone bill, which it's not entertainment, but I'm going to go ahead and throw that in entertainment. I'm paying about $120 a month right now, but that's because I have my cell phone that I am in the process of paying off. I think I've got 1 or 2 more payments left on it. And I did get an iPad about a year ago for work purposes. From when I worked at Frightworks, I needed an iPad to do some work. But I wanted to have my own, so I bought it as well on a payment plan. Both of those devices are about to be paid off, so my bill's going to drop below $100. But it's round about that right now. What about you? What's your entertainment world look like?
It's complicated because I cover costs of that younger brother of mine at times. So with our Disney passes, I do have the pirate pass. So I cover both costs. So yes, it is specifically $52 just for myself. However, I do cover the younger brother of mine. So I look at about $100. It's roughly about a little bit over $100 for our passes together, and I cover both of those. I don't have to cover my Universal pass because obviously it was already a one paid thing. So that's not a cost I it's not a fee I have to worry about anymore.
Yeah.
I don't pay for parking, so I don't have to worry about any of that because when I go to Universal, I walk or we go after 6:00. I also don't. When we go to the theme parks, though,
our reel of you and Rob in DreamWorks Land preview has over 1,000 plays.
I love that.
Sorry, just had to share that exciting news.
That's because it's a good reel.
Our
Thank
social
you.
media's popping.
Woo!
Be sure you guys follow us at Orlando_UnpluggedPod on Instagram.
Dead. So, I also when we go to the theme park, though, it's a little different than when you and I go to the theme park. When Rob and I go to a theme park, it's a whole day experience. Like,
yeah,
we'll probably eat breakfast at the house, or I'll get a cup of coffee at the house, but it's an entire day experience. So we're at least getting a meal and a snack while we're going out. Now, I'm not saying we're sitting down at the fancy restaurants and we're eating at why can't I think of a fancy restaurant at a theme park right now or at Disney World?
The Cantina.
We're not eating at any of those places. We're sitting at Tomorrowland Terrace and getting a cheeseburger, or Rob and I, we were just there about 2 weeks ago, and we sat in the Tomorrowland Terrace, and
let's be honest, we always get Casey's Corner when we go.
Yeah, I really do. I eat corn dogs, French fries, and a Diet Coke. That's what. Actually, if it's not cool lately, it's been that vegan hot dog, so I do like that thing. But yeah, I'm not saying that I ball out every single time we go to Disney World, but I definitely spend a little bit more money when I go to Disney because of the fact that I'm not just covering myself as a cost.
Yeah.
Or there's days that if we were going, we'll plan to go to Epcot, and Epcot goes through their festivals quite often. So a lot of the times I'm hitting up a couple festivals booths, and we're trying the new foods and things like that. So yes, when the two of us go off, and when you and I go off and we do our once a month thing, it is a little bit more of the I don't want to say the splurging side, but it is a little bougier. A cocktail at the Enchanted Rose runs anywhere between $15 to $22. So,
which we also a lot of times will use girl money.
Correct.
Tip money.
That cash money, baby. Which isn't something that I consider. This isn't I'm not budgeting for this. That's fun things to do, obviously I'm making sure my lights are turned on before we go and have girl money, and get a cocktail here and there. But I also am one of those people that my entertainment isn't going to the movies and going to bars. My entertainment is going to a new restaurant. That to me is cooler. Or it's I'm trying a new dish to make at the house. So I'm going to go to Trader Joe's and I'm going to spend a little bit more on something else instead of doing that. Or I'll hit up Whole Foods and or when you and I are together and we'll do a lunch for the podcast, we're going to Kura and I'll cover that. Or we're going to Publix and we're grabbing. Don't hate on Publix sushi, guys. It's pretty good. We'll go up and hit that, and we'll do that for lunch or something like that. So this isn't something, though. My entertainment is not something I do every day. It's I'll go to Vivo and get dinner and do that. But it also, to me, my eating out obviously is a little bit more than you. So I average probably between $100 to $150 a month for my eating out costs. My park passes obviously are a little bit more expensive. I do not have an annual pass as of right now to SeaWorld. I just have an annual pass to Disney World and my pass to Universal. My streaming services are a lot more expensive than yours, though, because I do pay for my family's streaming services. So I share a streaming service with my mom and my sister back up in Michigan. So I have,
because as Netflix said when online streaming became a thing, password sharing is love.
Correct. So I have Netflix, HBO, Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN. I have Amazon Prime, and I'm missing one more. Oh, I have YouTube TV as well. So I have all of those.
That's
so
a lot.
yeah, it's quite a bit. So my streaming services are between $75 to $100. And that does not include the fact that every once in a while, and I say every once in a while, about twice a week, that little brother of mine has to buy a movie. And it's not, he doesn't rent a movie. He buys a movie. And he knows Bix's credit card is attached to it. So he'll be like, Ashley, guess what we now own? I'm like, what do we own?
It's like you have all these streaming services. Did you
Transformers
have
2?
to buy it?
I'm like, is it Transformers 2 on HBO that you could just watch? Yeah, but it could go away.
Yeah, that is very true.
Okay. So
do you have anything else on that? Entertainment?
I also have to add in a cost that you do not have, though. I have a cat.
Rip. I used to have a cat.
You have a cat. You could. You're Bruce's Uncle Dusty. It's fine. But so my cost, I don't know where that would fall into, but my cost is a little bit more expensive, obviously, because I have a cat. Bruce has insurance. So I pay $30 a month for Bruce's pet insurance. Her cat food runs me about $60 a month because it's about $20 a bag, and that lasts me about 2 weeks. Obviously her water is free. Her filter for her filtration
Honey, that would
system.
be about $40 a month. If it's $20
Well,
a
it depends on the weekend. Depends on how many people are feeding her. Okay.
That's also true.
She has a water fountain, and the filtration that's in there costs me about $15 for the filters that are in there. And then her cat litter runs me between $11 to $15, depending on if it's on sale that week. And I change that out about every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then, when she got sick because she didn't like her water fountain that I originally bought and had a UTI, that was a fun cost I wasn't planning to pay for.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends, but I do have to pay an additional cost for my apartment complex, though, because I do have a cat. So
you pay pet.
I do.
Rent.
I pet
Which,
rent.
for the record, it's out there. There's protests. There's pledges. Go sign those freaking things and ban pet rent. That is ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous because
you're going to make us pay a non-refundable pet deposit and then also pay rent for the pet. Stupid.
I think it's ridiculous because I'm telling you, I have a cat that is cleaner than most humans I know. That's all I have to say to that. Thank you.
Now, is that all your cost? Your entertainment cost?
No, because my phone bill though is a whole situation.
Oh yeah.
So I run about $250 for my phone bill a month.
Is it just you on your plan?
Me and 2 watches.
Dang, girl. That's sad. Are you also paying for the devices, or are you just paying for the service on the devices?
Just the service.
Okay.
Just the damn service. It's $250.
Yeah, it's about $20 a month per line that you have, and if you have an Apple Watch that uses cellular data,
I do.
That is, I used to have that. I paid my watch off and I shut the service off because I was like, I don't use my watch as a phone enough because you can't hear anything. I used to be an event coordinator and I'd leave my phone everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was great. My clients could call me. In a convention center, I could never hear my clients, and I would have like the watch up to my ear trying to hear them, and then you have to pull it down in front of your face. Nah.
Well, see, I run with, if that's the case, because a lot of my job is a good chunk of it is on my phone. My email, contacts, all of that side of situation is linked to my cell phone. So,
but you also get a stipend from work in your salary, do you not?
Very small stipend. Thank you, company I work for. But when it comes to my phone, I leave my phone everywhere. I lose my phone constantly. Every single person in my entire house is aware of this. But I put I pay for my watch because I will have my AirPods on me at all times.
Yeah.
So my AirPods connect to my watch. So if somebody calls me and my phone is gosh knows where, I can plug in an AirPod and I'm good to go.
Yeah, that's
so I can
nice.
still hear you. But yeah.
Now, a good thing that I want to talk about Florida, it's not in our notes, so I'll just read it off right here. So as you know, Florida is home to hurricanes.
Yes, they are.
Lots of hurricanes. And right now, while we are actually recording this, we are in the middle of a sales tax holiday. It is the first Florida disaster preparedness sales tax holiday, which runs from June 1st to June 14th.
I love it.
And during this time, qualifying items related to disaster preparedness are exempt from sales tax. So items like flashlights and lanterns that are $40 or less, reusable ice costing $20 or less, radios $50 or less, tarps and ground anchors or like tie-down kits costing $100 or less, coolers, portable power banks costing $60 or less, batteries and fuel tanks costing $50 or less, smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, carbon monoxide totaling $70 or less, or generators costing $3,000 or less. And there's a full list of eligible items that you can actually participate in this, and they're going to have another sales tax holiday running August 24th through September 6th. So
and this means what, honey?
this means we're preparing for hurricanes?
No, this means if you purchase any of those products, you don't have to pay the sales tax on it.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a sales tax holiday.
Yes, but you forgot to tell them what that means.
Oh, well, where I come from...
Where we live, people understand that. But up in Michigan, people don't know what that means.
Tennessee understands it because we have a sales tax holiday at the beginning of every school year.
For tornado season, right?
No, it's just the beginning of every school year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so clothing, technology, and school supplies are all tax-free for a weekend.
Well, let me just run up there real quick.
What's sad is the line out the Apple store will be 2 hours long because any person can walk in there and buy a Mac computer and not pay sales tax on it.
I'm about to do that.
So even though it is designed for
Tennesseans,
it's designed for students.
What do you guys call yourselves out there? Are you Tennesseans? Is that what it is?
Yeah, like Floridians, Tennesseans.
Michiganders.
But
that's what Michigan people are.
Let's talk about the most adulting thing in this whole topic.
But yes, let's do it.
It's the grossest one that always takes everyone a hard time to understand, and it's healthcare.
Yep.
So this is what I found interesting. So according to Forbes, which we all know is very reliable, it is. Florida has the highest average premium for residents with family health coverage through an employer, costing $7,258 annually. And you want to know why that's disgusting? My friend Edward in the UK pays $0 a year for his health insurance.
I know. If only we lived there.
So a single
Edward,
employee.
Do you need people to live with you?
Well, he's moving to the U.S. He's getting married soon. September 11th. He'll be an American citizen.
Oh, boy.
So a single employee. Now, keep in mind that a lot of times the employers pay in on one half. So a single employee, their cost is going to be about $2,640 a year. That is going to be about $110. I think. Is that weekly?
Yeah.
I think I meant bi-weekly,
Probably.
not weekly. Every two, because most people get a paycheck every 2 weeks. And then for two adults with no children, the cost is $6,296 a year, which is $262 every 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
It's sad, but here's an even crazier part.
Tell me.
I pay $60.78 every 2 weeks out of my paycheck.
Uh-huh.
My employer pays over $200 every 2 weeks for my insurance.
Love that for you.
But with that, so I'm paying about $1,400 and a half, $1,458 and 72 cents annually. And then I have healthcare through Anthem. I have dental coverage through Cigna. I have vision insurance through Viz Orlando. I have basic life insurance. So if I were to die, my beneficiary will receive a minimum. I think it's $25,000.
Thank you.
You're not. I'm sorry. And then I also have basic accidental death and dismemberment, which is going to be a year's worth of my salary.
Love that.
And then there is an employee assistance program that my company has where I can get assistance through my company and through the company of the insurance for other various things and needs.
I love that for you.
What about you?
I pay about $71 bi-weekly. I think the actual total is $71.15. I'm looking at an annual cost of about $1,900. I have health and dental through Aetna. My vision is through anything. Like I have the ability to go anywhere, but I don't know what it's called. Like I don't know who the main provider is through that. And then I have through my company, I have what's called, I got to opt into a couple things.
So did I. I chose to not opt into what you are about to talk about.
I opted into this because as somebody who had a pretty nasty thing happen to me at the end of last year, I didn't know what that was going to look like for me. So I was kind of like, hey, let's just do it just to be on the safe side. So I have what's called critical illness insurance. So that means that if I get hurt, if something happens, if I'm in the hospital for a period of time, I don't lose pay. And then my company has what's called the self-add employee assistance program. So whatever I put into it, they match it.
So a health savings account, essentially.
Basically. Yeah. So if something were to happen, I have money put in there. I don't know if we were supposed to, did you, I have life insurance, but not through my job. I have my own life insurance.
Gotcha.
I've had life insurance since that daddy of mine.
I used to have life insurance. Like I had an additional policy outside of the basic life that I have. And that was and I had it because I didn't want my family to have to like struggle if anything were to happen to me.
Yeah.
And then I was told, they were like, if you die, like your next of kin is not responsible for your debts or your car. And I honestly, to God, I did not know that.
Are you serious?
I thought that they would go for your family because you watch movies and stuff as a kid, and that's
Suri says she's serious.
But when I found that out, I was like, oh, well, I don't need an additional. If I get $25,000, that's going to cover my funeral. I don't need an additional $100,000. And while, if I ever get married or I'm living with a significant other, I will take out a $100,000 life insurance policy because if something happens to me, I want that $25,000 to pay for my funeral costs or expenses or whatever. But then I want them to have money to at least pay for their housing for a year if we're renting, or to figure out what they want to do and give them that time. If they need to take off time from work to grieve, they don't have to worry about paying bills. But that's not a thing that I have right now.
See, that's what I have to go back and fix it, but that's what I had. I have life insurance that has somebody getting it as a beneficiary. So, but it was something that I had outside of the company outside of this. I have it, a third party or whatever, because when my dad passed away, obviously the military was a big chunk and played a big factor in like all of his funeral costs and everything like that. But then it was something that like, I needed something to like distract my head with for a minute. So I deep dived into that so hard that like, I was like, oh, the average funeral costs this much money. Okay, great. No matter what, like, and a lot of companies don't always give you really good life insurance. So I was like, I don't need somebody who at the time, the situation with our finances were very different. So I was like, I don't, this was an unexpected death, my dad. What happens if I lock myself in a freezer and freeze to death? Like that could happen. Oh my gosh. So I was like, this company I'm working for, oh my God, they're not going to be able to cover any of these things. And I freaked out really bad. So I was like, nope, I have a life insurance policy that is ridiculously high, but it's specifically because nobody was anticipating my dad dying the way he died or at the fact that he was going to die like that. So I was like, nope, I want to be prepared just in case.
When it comes to your
But now I'm going to change it and Bruce is going to get all my money. Listen, there's a lady that did that.
When it comes to your health insurance,
yes.
When you go to a doctor's visit,
yes.
like you go to the doctor's office, I'm sure most insurance places, your preventative, so like your yearly physical, that's automatically covered.
Correct.
But if you get sick, say you get strep or whatever, you go to the doctor's office.
Yeah.
Are you paying
a copay?
A certain percentage, or are you paying a copay?
I pay a copay.
You pay a copay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I selected the copay option. There were two different options, and I don't remember which one I selected right now, which is bad. But I'm pretty sure I had the copay one.
So my basics are covered. So like that physical, that exam, that anything like that. And that's covered for both your dental and for my medical. So those two things. So like you have to have a yearly dentist work done.
Yeah.
And then checkup, thank you. And then you have a yearly doctor's checkup.
Your cleaning and
Correct.
Your physical.
And then when it comes to the physical, my physical would include like any blood work that had to get done as well. So that
EKG.
includes correct. Any of those kind of things, that's included, that I pay nothing for. If I need to have if I go to the dentist office and I need to have a root canal, cavity filled, I need to get adult braces. If something happens like that, I pay a copay, or I pay if it's an extreme thing, if I have to get a teeth pulled or braces, I have to pay a certain percentage. But I can pay if it's a regular appointment outside of my annual appointment, I pay a copay.
Yeah.
When it comes to the doctor's office, that one's a whole annoying situation, because if I have to have any surgery, that's when I would pop into. That's why I opted for my critical illness coverage, because that critical illness coverage covers that entire thing. So I don't have to cover any of that. If I have to go to a specific doctor, so like if I get referred to I struggle with a really nasty knee that doesn't like me at times. So like if I get referred to a knee doctor, I will pay a copay to be seen, but the critical illness covers the surgery if I have to have it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So here is our call to action to you guys this week. We want to know from you guys, when it comes to health insurance, what do you prefer? Do you prefer having a copay, or do you prefer the out-of-pocket up to your premium for the year?
Text us and let us know.
Don't forget, click that link just below the description, or just above the description in the show notes. Text us and let us know your opinion. What kind of health insurance do you like? And what kind of health insurance do you not like?
What is your eye insurance like, though? That's the one I want to know. What does that look like?
I don't know. I'd have to go look at it.
Oh, I love my eye insurance. I love my eye. Well, as somebody who is very blind, I love my eye insurance because what eye insurance does is it covers it's ridiculously cheap too, the breakdown. And you get to go to the eye place, get your eyes checked, get your eyes seen, and you get a new pair of glasses. And I walk away spending maybe $200.
Oh, well, see, I don't really have eye problems as much.
I can't
I got
see.
it because I want to go get checked, but I've still never been. I should
love
go.
it. I love my eye doctor.
But guys, that is pretty much it. That is how we made a not so fun topic and told you about our lives and let you know.
I told you
how
I
our
was
lives
going to
are.
let Dustin make it boring.
Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, it is hard to calculate. Each household is going to be different. Each person
Absolutely.
is different. You may have plenty of other variables in your life that are going to affect how much your cost of living is going to be, no matter where you are in the world, whether you're from Knoxville, Tennessee, you're from where in Michigan?
I'm a comb.
Where?
Right outside Detroit. Let's just say Detroit.
Detroit, Michigan, or Orlando, Florida. It is really, really hard to calculate that. In full transparency with everyone, I've talked about it several times on the show. When I moved down here, I did not have a job for over a month. It was 3 weeks before I got the job, another 2 weeks before paychecks started rolling in. So I have been living paycheck to paycheck down here. I saw a decrease of 48% in my yearly salary when I moved to Florida. Now, that being said, I would not change it for the world. I'm in the city that I want to be in. Well, if I was back home in Tennessee and I had to remake this decision knowing exactly what I know now, I'd make the same decision to be down here, because if I wasn't down here, I wouldn't know you.
And
we
as
wouldn't
your
be
best friend, you would
besties.
be so sad.
And I've been fortunate, though. I took that leap of faith, and I already had some friends down here. I have met a whole nother slew of people that I know always have my back. I know that if I fall onto a problem, I know that I can call on Ashley. I know that Ashley will call on Shan.
Why am I not surprised this is going to get brought up? Listen, my mother's iconic for
I
a
already
reason.
said that I'm in the will for providing child care assistance for both of her children and making sure that you
It's
two
only
don't
because
kill
you're
each other.
old.
It is. But that being said, I've learned a way to make it work again, and I know that there are, as Dolly says, brighter days ahead, and there is a silver lining out there. That being said, I'm not poor. If someone does want to Venmo or Cash App me $2,000 to fix the air conditioner in my car, that would be greatly appreciated.
Listen, we'll put your Cash App and your Venmo account in our next social media posting for everybody.
Let's do it.
I'm dead.
What do you got to say, Ashley?
I don't know, dude. This was my life currently was not in a situation I ever anticipated being in. So I had some pretty big up and downs, I didn't expect to be back to Florida. I didn't expect to be doing this, especially not just being back, but I don't want to say by myself, because obviously I'm not doing it alone. My mother does, the iconic Shan does help as much as she can. But I'm also a situation where I was given an opportunity, and I'm grateful for the opportunity I have that allows me to kind of cover some things if I need to. I'm able to bail out that brother if worse comes to worse. I'm able to bail you out if you need it. I'm also one of those people, though, I've watched my family go through a moment where there wasn't money. I've watched my family go through a moment where there was a ton of it. So I understand what the value of a dollar looks like, but I also understand what it's like to spend money like a big girl, because I've got big girl money. So,
ooh, big girl money.
Bruce, she be printing it off, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those situations, though, where I am grateful that I'm able to do those things, because for a period there, people had to help me and had to pull it out. So I like to say that, I put good karma was put into the world when people help me. So it's my job to put it back in the world and help other people. So yes, as much as I have a weird situation and a situation I never anticipated having, I am beyond grateful for the fact that the situation that I'm in is one that I'm not struggle bussing as hard as I could have. But it also is a pretty big give and take. Yes, I have big girl money, but I am very much addicted to my job. I'm in a full relationship with my job.
Preach.
So as much as everybody's like, oh, this is so great, she can cover 2 bills and she can cover dinner and pay for dinner for a couple friends. Yes, but dinner at a couple friends, how many times did I pick up a phone call or an email or a text message and do all those things? So
we won't get into that.
It has its moments, it has its give or takes, but listen, I'm just a girl living my diabolical lies out here.
Just a girl.
So, yeah, I'm doing great.
Hey.
I love it.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us this week. Like we said, we look forward to coming back to you guys throughout this month with some very special guests with us in the studio.
Wait. I'm ready to tell them that I am an ally for them.
I'm an ally.
An ally.
So, guys, don't forget, you can follow us on all of our forms of social media if you head on over to OrlandoUnpluggedPodcast.com.
Woo! That's going to be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can find all of those links on our website at www.OrlandoUnpluggedPodcast.com. But be sure, our stuff has been popping off lately.
It has been.
Yes, we've got some photos, we've got some things, we've got some behind the scene photos of stuff. So be sure to check all of that out. You can also, like Dustin and I talked about last episode and this episode, you can text us now.
Yes, do it. It's so cool.
Oh my God, we love it. So whatever platform you're listening to us on, so if it's Spotify, Apple, Amazon, any sort of platform, even if you're listening through us through buzzsprout.com, you can just hit that text us button that's right on there.
Text the show.
Let us know your thoughts. Let us know if this was a boring episode and Dustin needs to do better at coming up with a better topic.
No, they're supposed to let us know which type of health insurance they like.
Or that too. But as always, please make sure that you're sharing this podcast with your friends. Oh.
No, ma'am. This is 2 weeks in a row you've done this.
Okay, what do you want me to say first?
All right, guys, until next week, stay safe, stay educated.
I'm so sorry. Be sure to share this with your friends, your family, and of course, your favorite bartender.